Welcome to this very special edition of Politically Charged. I'm, of course, Jack Berlin. This episode is dropping on Labor Day, so I hope everybody has enjoyed their day, enjoyed the day off. Finally, college football came back this weekend. So, if you're interested in sports, college football, hot takes, LeVar Ball, any of that, go over and check out It Can't Be Arrogance If I'm Right, the other podcast I do with my co-host Nick Talco. We're bringing it back. We took a little bit of the summer off. But just like Hoodie Mello, we put that hoodie on, we put on that off-season work, and we back better than ever. So go ahead, tune into that. I think we got a new episode dropping tomorrow night. Well, tomorrow night is in Tuesday night because you'll hear this on Monday. But that's enough self-promotion for right now. I will get back to promoting myself again later. But let's talk about the past week in political news. Obviously, there are two huge stories breaking over this weekend that we have to talk about, and then there are a couple others that everybody needs to be aware of. So let's start with the one that has the potential to end humanity. As you probably know by now, North Korea this past weekend tested its most powerful nuclear weapon to date, a thermonuclear bomb. I had to practice saying that word like 8 times. Thermonuclear bomb, also known as a hydrogen bomb, that was 7 times stronger than the nuclear bomb America dropped on Hiroshima. Just to give you a point of reference. Theoretically, a bomb of this magnitude could level U.S. cities and theoretically could reach U.S. cities. In the hours that followed after the news of the test broke, President Trump on Twitter, of course, went at the Chinese for saying that they had very little success dealing with the North Koreans, which is somewhat true, and then talked about how South Korea's talk of appeasement with North Korea will never work, essentially advocating for a military response. Any type of military strike by the United States on North Korea would almost assuredly result in North Korea immediately bombing South Korean cities, namely Seoul, the capital of South Korea, that lies only 30 miles from North Korea. These strikes would result in millions and millions of South Korean casualties, not to mention the millions of Americans that visit South Korea every year and the armed forces that we have stationed there right now. There is an emergency meeting of the UN Security Council called for tomorrow, Monday, when you'll be hearing this. Hopefully China steps up and at least condemns North Korea. Hopefully they're willing to go a couple steps further and actually hopefully kind of slow down the progress that North Korea is making with their nuclear program. We're quickly approaching the point of no return, and President Trump still occupies the Oval Office, so what the American response is going to be is anybody's guess. I doubt he knows. But North Korea, up to this point, has successfully boxed us into a corner. If we respond militarily, or one of our allies respond with a military strike, they can immediately attack South Korea, and like I said, it would result in millions and millions of casualties. If we try to push them economically, we've already sanctioned them. We've sanctioned billions and billions of dollars on North Korea. For it to be really effective, for the sanctions to really take effect, we need China to sign off, as they have in the past, as they did recently, to really inflict harm on North Korea's economy, because China is by far their biggest trade partner. And sanctioning those type of trades would really hurt the pockets of the North Koreans. Obviously, the current situation is completely untenable. We can't constantly live in fear of North Korea further developing their nuclear program to the point where they're able to strike and successfully level American cities. But we also can't immediately go in and attack them because we'll indirectly be responsible for millions and millions of deaths. So, thankfully, people much smarter than me are tasked with dealing with this situation, though I'm not sure I would count the president among those. All I'm saying is I would be a hell of a lot more comfortable if Hillary had her hand on the trigger right now and was making these decisions. So I'm sure there will be a lot more news to come out of this topic in the days and the weeks to come. Like I said, there's a UN Security Council meeting tomorrow, Monday. We'll see what comes out of that. Like I said, hopefully China steps up and allows us to do something, or maybe gets involved themselves. That would be great. But we're going to leave that to the extremely smart foreign policy officials throughout the government. We're going to focus on the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program that Politico is reporting the Trump administration is getting ready to nix. For those of you that don't know, this program offers protection from deportation and offers work permits to U.S. residents who arrived illegally in the U.S. before 2007 and while they were 15 years of age or younger. To qualify for this, they need to have a almost entirely spotless criminal record and be enrolled in high school or have a high school diploma or equivalent, like a GED. There's about 1.3 million people who are eligible for this program, and about 800,000 have actually applied and gained acceptance into the program. Now, the move to end this program would actually be controversial within the Republican Party. Lots and lots of Republicans have lobbied the Trump administration against doing this, but of course, Trump went ahead and did it, reportedly by Politico. It would fulfill a campaign promise and would very much align with his anti-immigration views. Now, another aspect of this is an Obama-era program, and there's nothing President Trump loves more than nixing Obama-era programs. Now, there is legislation in the Senate right now called the Bridge Act with bipartisan support that would protect the program's recipients from deportation and render litigation against them moot. The problem with this is that GOP leadership, Mitch McConnell, Paul Ryan, would have to allow it to come to the floor, something, as of right now, they've shown no interest in doing. And if the past is any indication of their morality, they probably won't allow it. Doing away with this program puts 800,000 immigrants in line to be deported. The people that are in this program have paid their dues. They're contributing to society. They're chasing the American dream. An American dream that Republicans love to hold up and want everybody to be able to chase unless you're an immigrant. This is an incredibly shameful move by President Trump to simply shore up support within his base and basically just feed them red meat, give them exactly what they want. There is no good case for ending this program. Nothing. All it's going to do is hype up the anti-immigration hardliners, aka xenophobes, that seem to have somewhat taken over the Republican Party. So I am relieved that there's bipartisan criticism coming at President Trump for at least talking about ending this program. I'm glad that there's been a huge rally around the people that could be affected by this. There's going to be mass demonstrations. This is going to be politically disastrous for the Trump administration, but that's never stopped them from doing stupid stuff before. Switching gears just a bit now, thankfully, the Trump administration has proven to not be completely incompetent with their response to the devastation left behind by Hurricane Harvey in both Texas and Louisiana. To be honest, I was kind of worried that the Trump administration would have zero idea what to do, how to respond to this. But as of right now, it seems that local, federal authorities are all working together and they're saving people's lives, which is great. And then you have people like J.J. Watt, who raised something like $18 million so far at the time that I'm looking at this. Unfortunately, even with for all intents and purposes, a successful support system from the federal government, the damage to Houston and the communities that were heavily hit by Hurricane Harvey is going to take a very, very long time to recover from. I've seen estimates of anywhere from $80 to $120 billion worth of damage and almost 1 million cars totaled. And because Houston is such a big city and has such a significant impact on the U.S. economy, economic consequences from the storm are going to be felt nationwide. I know here we're already feeling it at the gas pump. Gas has gone up something like 30 cents in the past 5 days. It's ridiculous. So if you can provide something, food, water, supplies, money, anything, there's hundreds and hundreds of good charities out there doing great work down there. Obviously, J.J. Watt is doing amazing. But really, whatever you can to help those people, you should absolutely do. We do have another hurricane coming up through the Caribbean right now, Hurricane Irma. It's already a Category 4, and it looks like it's coming right at Florida. So, unfortunately, we may have another situation like this in the next couple weeks. So if you did not know about Irma and you live in Florida, I would probably recommend go buy some water or something. At very least, just buy a little 12-pack of water. That's a great start. Well, not necessarily great, but it's a start. Elsewhere in Trump's America this week, the Trump administration announced that it will slash the Obamacare advertising budget by 90%, still playing into the idea that Obamacare is dying by forcing it to die. This lack of advertising it seems like it's going to disproportionately affect healthy people who really don't need insurance but are critical to have in the insurance system so that premiums don't spike on people. Basically, the more healthy people that are in the insurance system, it drives down premiums, drives up subsidies for the people that really and truly need the health care and can't pay for it themselves. So Trump, once again, is on the verge of hurting millions and millions of people simply because he needs to play up to his base and he despises everything about Barack Obama. Even though Obama wrote him an extremely nice letter that just happened to be twice as long as any other letter a president has left for his successor, which should tell you just a little bit about how much Obama trusted Trump to do even a semi-decent job. And lastly, as we move from August into September, Congress comes back in session and they have a huge September in front of them full of potentially catastrophic decisions. And now with the added struggle of dealing with the devastation left behind by Hurricane Harvey, FEMA's Disaster Relief Fund is going to have to be replenished, meaning that it's another thing for Congress to have to do in September. So September is shaping up as a month that has the potential to bring us chaos, government shutdowns, national insolvency, and, again, something the Trump administration does fantastic, catastrophe. Items on the agenda for this month include a continuing resolution, meaning that the government continues to be funded. The federal government is running out of borrowing authority sometime in September, so that kind of needs to be addressed. FEMA's Disaster Relief Fund, like I said, is very quickly being depleted because of the devastation left behind by Harvey. And the federal flood insurance program is out of money, something that really needs to be funded due to Hurricane Harvey. Okay, so maybe saying that we had stuff to look forward to is a little tiny bit of a stretch, and yeah, no, that was a lie. Thank you to everyone for listening this far into the show. In particular, thank you to the couple people that DM'd me in the past week or so, and then a couple emails came through on the website too. Shout out to you guys for reaching out, letting me know you like the show. That's always great to hear, always great to get positive feedback. Hopefully I can continue to bring you guys the highest of high-quality content as we do here at Politically Charged. I am, of course, Jack Berlin. This is the end of the episode. Again, thank you so much for listening. Be sure to check out the website, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. We're everywhere that you can listen to podcasts at. With that, we out.